As a boy enamored with airplanes, he dreamed of flying. As a man, he flew higher than his dreams could ever have foretold.
The shuttle has cleared the tower.
Fighter pilot, aerospace engineer, NASA astronaut, and corporate leader, Guy Bluford is a living, breathing example of just how far hard work and determination can carry a person who believes in his dreams. Along the way, he has become a role model for thousands whose own dreams seem beyond their reach. One of 3 sons of Guyan and Lolita, Guyan Bluford Jr. grew up in West Philadelphia. He was born in November 1942, 9 months after the Tuskegee Airmen officially became the first African-American flying unit in the United States military. It was mere decades since the first flights of African-American aviators like James Herman Banning, Bessie Coleman, and Pennsylvanian Emory Malek. But it was an era when radical technological changes were taking place, particularly in aviation. Prop planes would soon give way to jets. 5 years after Guy Bluford was born, the sound barrier would officially be broken. More barriers would be broken. Some at a snail's pace. Others at supersonic speeds. Growing up in West Philadelphia during these times, the young Guy Bluford was deeply interested in these changes. He read and learned everything he could about these new technologies and resolved that someday he would be an aerospace engineer. Guy Bluford's father was a mechanical engineer, and his mother was a special education teacher. The two of them drilled into their sons the importance of education and sustained effort to achieve your goals. They taught their children that anything was possible if you worked at it. And that's just what Guy did. As a student in Philadelphia's public school system, graduating from Overbrook High School, young Guy Bluford learned the value of aiming high and staying the course. Although a school guidance counselor had suggested he was not college material, Guy knew better. After graduation in 1960, his next stop was the Pennsylvania State University. His 4 years in State College were busy ones. He met Linda Tull, his future wife. He worked tirelessly toward his degree. He joined the Air Force ROTC program and earned his FAA pilot license during officer training. Before long, the kid who wasn't college material had a degree in aerospace engineering and a commission in the United States Air Force. It was then 1964. A year later, he underwent training at Williams Air Force Base in Arizona, where he earned his Air Force wings as well as a commercial pilot's license. Following F-4C combat training, he was assigned to the 557th Tactical Fighter Squadron, 12th Tactical Fighter Wing in Cam Ranh Bay, South Vietnam. From there, over the course of the next 9 months, he flew 144 combat missions, 65 of them over North Vietnam. He earned numerous medals for his courageous service. Returning stateside, Bluford continued his service at Sheppard Air Force Base in Texas. As an instructor flying T-38As, he trained students in advanced flying techniques that would prepare them for the rigors and dangers inevitably faced by fighter pilots. He excelled at this work, but by 1972, he was ready for more education and more challenges. Assigned to Wright-Patterson Air Base in Ohio, he began further studies at the Air Force Institute of Technology. In 1974, he received a Master of Science degree, again in aerospace engineering, graduating at the top of his class. He went on to earn his PhD while serving as Deputy for Advanced Concepts at the Air Force Flight Dynamics Laboratory, completing his dissertation in 1978. He became an expert in computational fluid dynamics and ultimately was named Branch Chief of the Aerodynamics and Airframe Branch at the laboratory. Major Guyan Bluford Jr. had worked hard. He had continued his education to its logical culmination, a culmination that would prepare him for even greater heights. his mother and father had been right. With hard work and education, he had fulfilled his dream of becoming an aerospace engineer. But anything was possible, and now it was time to aim higher than he ever had before. A new opportunity presented itself, and Major Guy Bluford seized it.
Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.
America had won the space race.
That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
But after Apollo 17 returned from the moon in 1972, 9 years would pass before Americans would return to space. Most of the experienced astronauts were scheduled to retire by the end of the decade, and NASA needed a new core. In 1977, Guy Bluford applied for a spot in the NASA astronaut program. On January 16, 1978, the space agency announced the selection of the first class of orbiting space shuttle astronauts, the NASA Group 8. 8,000 men and women had applied. 35 had been accepted. 3 of them were African Americans, and one of those 3 was Guy Bluford. Throughout the next year, Bluford and his fellow astronauts were subjected to an intensive battery of tests, training, and instruction, from high-level classes in orbital mechanics, materials science, geology, astronomy, and shuttle systems, to shuttle simulator and EVA training at NASA's Neutral Buoyancy Facility. Finally, his official designation as a NASA astronaut came in 1979. Over the next few years prior to his first orbital flight, Bluford worked on multiple technical assignments in support of the shuttle program, including the remote manipulator system, space lab systems, and flight software.
I am really looking forward to the experience of flying in space and actually contributing both to the NASA mission as well as the success of the space shuttle program.
T-minus 11.
Then, on
10,
August 30th, 1983,
8,
at 2:32 a.m.,
6,
STS-8
5,
lifted off
engine
from
start,
Launch Complex
2,
39A
1.
at Cape
We
Canaveral.
have ignition and we have liftoff. Liftoff 32 minutes after the hour, and the shuttle has cleared the tower.
It was the 8th launch and first nighttime launch of the space shuttle. Strapped into their couches aboard the Shuttle Challenger were 5 American astronauts, and one of them was Dr. Guyan Bluford, Jr. That day, he wrote his name in the history books as the first American of African ancestry to travel in space.
The President is on the line.
Guy, congratulations. You, I think, are paving the way for many others, and you're making it plain that we are in an era of brotherhood here in our land, and you will serve as a role model for so many others and be so inspirational that I can't help but express my gratitude to you.
Years later, Bluford would comment, "It wasn't for me a desire to be the first African American in space. My desire was to make a contribution to the program." He did that, and more. In a 10-year period, Guy Bluford would log nearly 700 hours in space aboard 4 shuttle missions: STS-8, STS-61A, STS-39, and STS-53. He served in vital roles as mission specialist and flight engineer, managing orbital experiments, gathering important data, deploying payloads, and launching satellites from orbit. But his contributions went beyond those key mission accomplishments. "I wanted to set the standard, do the best job possible," he said, "so that people would be comfortable with African Americans flying in space. And African Americans would be proud of being participants in the space program and encourage others to do the same." Adding to his already impressive list of credentials, between space flights, this man with a thirst for knowledge completed his MBA degree at the University of Houston in 1987. Guy Bluford resigned from NASA and the United States Air Force with the rank of colonel in July 1993, 1 month shy of the 10-year anniversary of his historic first flight. Since then, he has made additional important contributions to the field of aerospace engineering, heading up research teams and managing major contracts for NYMA Inc., Federal Data Corporation, and Northrop Grumman. He left Northrop in 2002 to form his own engineering and business consulting firm, the Aerospace Technology Group in Cleveland, Ohio. Dr. Bluford has received many accolades and awards and has served on numerous boards. He was inducted into the International Space Hall of Fame in 1997 and was inducted into the United States Astronaut Hall of Fame in 2010, along with fellow shuttle astronauts Kenneth Bowersox, Frank Culbertson, and Catherine Thornton. As he has said many times, work hard, aim high, and chase the dream.
I say to people, hey, the opportunities are there, go for it. You know, you'll have to work hard to get there, but the opportunities and the thrill of working in the science engineering community are fabulous.
In honor of his philosophy, his many towering accomplishments, and so much more, Dr. Guyon Stewart Bluford Jr. is the Pennsylvania Society's Gold Medal honoree for 2011. Tonight, nearly 30 years after his trailblazing flight into history, he has indeed inspired many and shown everyone how to catch the dream.